So why would your organization use the email templates? Lightning email templates are used for the campaign emails, any type of automated emails you have go out, like if you have a newsletter that goes out every month, you can set up a classic email template for that. You obviously want branding standardization across all your messaging, and this allows you to do that, and it gives you message consistency. You have, in Salesforce, there are multiple ways to send emails. You can do it through Outlook or Gmail and still tie that into Salesforce. But if you're using the Lightning email templates inside the platform, then you don't have to worry about everyone sending different emails to convey the same message in different ways. You just set up the template and you utilize that template to send out to as many people as you need to. In getting into building the templates, I'd mentioned using letterheads with the email templates. So if you plan on using a letterhead in a Lightning email template, you have to create the letterhead first. So you would go to the app launcher there and then just search for enhanced letterheads, and it'll bring up the list view for the enhanced letterheads. And you'll see here that we already have two created. You can either click on an existing one, and this is basically what you'll see is just the details about it. And then you can go into the edit mode, and this is where you would make all the changes to the letterhead. Now there are two sections here, one for the header and one for the footer. So I'll use one with a header just so you can see the difference. You'll see here that we have the header created in a separate section, and then the footer down there. Now this area here is basically a rich text area. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that, but it's just basically you can add images and different types of formatting to it. And you also have the ability, if you click on the source button, to modify the HTML that's underlying. Now, one of and you'll find this on the email templates as well, one of the drawbacks or limitations rather of this HTML editor in Salesforce is that it doesn't recognize all of the HTML5 tags. So if you cut and paste HTML source code into this, you may run into errors, and you'll just have to strip out those unrecognized tags. But other than that, we've not had an issue with it. And you'll see down here, excuse me, that you can insert a merge field. And what a merge field is basically a placeholder for data. If you use this letterhead and want to send an email to a contact, what you would do is you would find the, like you want to send and insert the recipient's first name, you would search for it here, click insert, and it will show up in the editor looking like this. And you don't want to remove the curly brackets because those are system syntax, and you'll just end up not getting the data. You'll just get the direct representation of this text here. But when this email is sent, it goes to the contact record and pulls in and replaces this merge field with that recipient's first name. And that works for any merge field you put in there pointing to any type of field that you're related to for that email template. And the same thing goes for the footer. It's basically the exact same as the header. It's just positioned differently on the page. And then you would just save any changes, or if you're creating a new one, just save it. And then you would go to your email templates, and you can get to that on the app launcher as well. And you would just click on the email templates. It would take you there. And we'll look at the one that we sent out for the Lunch and Learn. It's pretty much the same as the letterhead builder. You have all the same areas on the page, and if you click edit, it brings up all the fields that are required. Now, this is different. This is a related entity type. If you're relating this email to a specific object in Salesforce, say we want to relate it to the campaign, that's going to allow you to represent the campaign data in this email through merge fields, sort of like we did with the contact. And here you'll see enhanced letterhead. That just tells you which letterhead you're going to be using with this email. And you can assign the subject line, and you can also insert merge fields into this subject line as well as the body. Now, and this is a rich text area as well, and you also have the HTML source editor. One thing we do recommend is if you have, like this email template here has a lot of graphics. If you're going to use a lot of graphics, you might want to compare the letterhead you're using to make sure you don't have any overlap in your graphics. Otherwise, your email will just end up being a big blob. And then you also have the merge field capability here as well. And that's about as simple as it gets for creating a Lightning email template. Now, the ways you're able to use a Lightning email template or send it in Salesforce, you can send it to a contact record, or you can send it to you can send a list email. Like if you have a list of contacts, a list view, and you go in and if you go here and you scroll down, now you'll see that there's 165 campaign members on this campaign. You can click send list email, and what it's going to do is pull in, you'll see the recipients here are all being pulled in from that campaign. And then what you'll do is just enter the subject line, or if you're using an email template, you would click on the insert email template. I don't want to, we'll click insert template, that way we can search. And let's see here. We'll just click this one. And basically it just pulls that email template in and inserts it into the body along with the header and footer if you're using a letterhead. And then you can save it as a draft, or you can send it, or you can schedule it to send later at a designated time. And I don't want to send this one because I don't want to send 165 emails to people that aren't expecting it, but if you click send it, it automatically sends it. And if you're sending it to an individual, you would just go to the contact record, and over here under activity, you see you have the email button there. You basically just do the same thing. It has all the same fields. You would just click insert creator update template, insert template, pick whichever template you want to send. And I will go ahead and send this one because it's just coming to me. So you'll see that I just got that email, and that's basically what they're going to receive. Exactly what we were showing in the email template. And it's really not that complicated unless you start getting into custom HTML. That's really the only time you're going to have issues. Some of the limitations behind email templates is, there's one more thing I wanted to show you before I get into that. It's not there. If you click on the related tab on an email template, it gives you the ability to upload or add files. And what this is going to do is when you send that email, it's going to send that file as an attachment to the email. There is a limit on the file size of 25 megabytes. So anything over that, you would just use like a Dropbox or Google Drive or something and just put the link in the email. But if you needed to send an attachment, and it would go out with every email every time it's sent. So unless you went in and removed that attachment, if you send that email today and then 6 months later you want to send it again and you needed to update that attachment, you would have to go in here to the email template builder and update the attachment as well. So that's really about all I've got on the building of the templates. Yeah.
So when you went to enhance letterheads,
Mm-hmm.
and with one that you already had, how would you create a new one? Because I don't have a button to do that.
That may be a profile issue because you're limited based on your profile capabilities.
Well, that's why.
Yeah, that was gonna be one of my questions, is that if that's controlled by your profile and
It is.
does everybody have that access?
Yeah, that really depends on your organization and sysadmin, how that's set up. One thing also that helps administrators and managers control access to the email templates is there is a folder structure that's basically, it has the same functionality as reporting folders. You're only allowed access to edit that template if you have edit access to that folder. You can create your own private folder. And let's see here. If you go to all folders, you'll see we only have one because there's just two of us really, but you can share it. And when you do that, that typically is where you assign that view, edit, manage access to your users. It's basically just like you're doing with the report folder. It's just in the email template section. So we went over using templates. So again, the only three declarative ways to use the email template is on a contact record, a list view, or a campaign list email.
You might be answering this question later, but the emails that you send out, can you then see data on like?
Who read it? You can. In some applications, if you send it using a flow, you wouldn't necessarily be able to see that unless you program that in. But if you send it from like a contact record, you can see who's opened it, who hasn't opened it. So now we're going to get with Matthew on the marketing side. So the floor's all yours.
So hi, I'm Matthew. I came on about this year, in early 2023, and we're just getting started with some of our new branding structure here. But one of the biggest things that I always say, coming from a branding standpoint, is why do you need to brand an email? Why do you need to send something out that people know that it's yours? And why don't you just stick a signature on it? But the start of it is that consistency is key. And as you all may know, that branding is not just a logo. It is much more than that. It's your voice, your tone, your colors, your schema. You as a company as a whole, that is your brand. And so why we're talking about, you may see some familiar logos up there as well as some big names. So, what is branding? It's all those things in one, but how do you stage your brand in your content, and why would email templates be more useful in a way rather than just, having an admin send out an email to everyone real quick from their personal or from their work email? Email signatures are really good for branding only because you can add a logo, but that only adds like a personal touch to it. But for these larger campaigns, when you're trying to send 5,000 emails across the state, everyone within Greenville itself, you can most definitely customize those templates and make sure that, say, you look at an admin, or you look at someone and you say, hey, we need this email to go out, but we have a structure already. They can do it in about 2 minutes and get it out to over 2,000 people rather than having to start from scratch. So, but branding is very important, and you really don't want to lose that. My old boss used to say, consistency is key, and you'll always get sick of your brand. I've worked at the medical school here in town. I've worked over at Texas Tech back in Texas, and we all got sick of seeing the same photos, the same colors, the same, pretty much everything. But it may get stale to you, but it's always new for someone else, And so it's trying to portray who you are. And we're not really here to talk and learn about branding. You all have a wonderful brand. I've looked at everything you all have, and I love it so much. But it really just leans into those headers and footers so that you can have a consistency there, that the fonts are consistent. You don't have people out there using, everybody likes to say wingdings and everything like that, So you really want to make sure that everything is on the same level and everything looks sharp, clean, and looks the same. Because once people start messing with your logos, messing with your fonts, then things kind of just fall to pieces. And we don't want that. We want everything to be firm and together. So these Lightning email templates are a very, very good step to kind of implement into your organization, to say, hey, this is our brand. And say you have someone come in, you just have a new hire, and they are getting into the environment, and they're having to start doing these emails, and that's their job. I mean, it's one of the easier platforms that I've done. I've worked in many email platforms myself, but this one, especially with the connection to Salesforce, you have just a plethora of content there to pull from. So just a quick touch on branding and staging there. You don't really want to go too far, too far left, too far right, and you want to make sure everything kind of just stays to your brand and doesn't falter one way or the other, just due to a mishap of an email. And it has a lot of checks and balances. You can upload pretty much any photo that you would like or graphic that you would like. We did all of our stuff in Photoshop and all of our graphics there, and then just copied and pasted it in so that it's very simple to use. And if you do actually want to start going into that HTML editor and start really messing with the graphics, then you can do so also. I believe if you do think of the resolution of a graphic, I think it's 800 across, and then however long you would want it down. But as Chris mentioned before, if you do start messing around with those dimensions, then your email may come off a bit wonky. But yeah, that's pretty much all we have for branding. It's really just to keep consistency across the organization and to make sure that people have direct access, especially in a crisis where you have an email to address some mishap or something that got leaked into the news, but people are emailing you about it. You don't have to tell your intern or admin, hey, I need you to write something up. You already have a template, so you can just automatically send it over to the person who's in question, and it's that simple. So, any questions? No? Okay, sweet. Awesome. And I'll turn it over to Steve.
My piece to all of this comes more in the matter of strategies. And then using inflow. So from a strategic standpoint, Chris pointed out kind of the foldering that's available there. Matthew talked about branding and messaging. Put those together, okay? Create a folder for a specific campaign, and here are the messages that we're sending out. Or you have your members that you're wanting to send emails out to on a regular basis. Really awesome. You build a template for thank you for your donation. Thank you for participating in our Lunch and Learn. And so when we go and mark you as or have attended, we have a flow that goes and says, oh, that's attended, send these emails out thanking them. Okay, so, but coming back to what Matthew was talking about, I was the one that said we need to interject a little bit of the marketing in there, because each group has a brand. And we were talking about this last night as we were getting ready for this, and Chris and I used to work for a construction equipment company down in Texas, and they put together a logo. They're ASCO equipment, so they had their ASCO logo. And they said, okay, here, you guys, and basically they were all guys. But they said, here's our logo. You can order these jackets and hats and stuff like that. You have this much money you can spend, and here's the platform we're using. Here's the logo that we want you to use. So they gave him the graphic, gave him the platform. Well, not disparaging Chris because he comes from the service side of things, but these service guys, they decided they didn't like the ASCO logo the way it stood, so they built their own logos and uploaded them, and there was really no control. So the CEO's walking around and he sees this jacket and he goes, where'd that logo come from? Oh, I built that one. There was a lot going on there. So just trying to maintain, when you have the ability to create these templates, you probably see this in Outlook too. I can go create whatever signature I want, put whatever graphic I want on there and everything, and we feel that there needs to be consistency in how it's all presented from both a representation and a messaging. Matthew talked about your brand includes the tone that we use. Your organizations have a tone, the way they present themselves, and we encourage that. So the folder structure allows managers to start working with marketing or working with your communications group to putting together email templates that then others can use, go and get a copy of, clone it, use it, type it up, and then save it into their own if you want to allow that. Or you say, no, we don't want you to create your own personalized versions of this. Always use our template, change the wording as necessary. But the point here is that there needs to be a strategy around it. It's one of these things that you can go back and start using. It's available, it's open. You turn on the permissions and anybody can use it. There's a catch. As people can use it, they're going to use it. And they're going to use it the way they want to use it. In a sales environment, we're communicating with customers and we want to provide a message to them saying, hey, thank you for talking with me today. Here's information about this particular machine. And one organization has a template for every machine that they sell. And it attaches in, like Chris said, for that template, it has attached to it the PDF with the spec sheets and all the information about that unit that they spoke to them about. And they say, okay, but there's a they strategically had to plan that out, build it out, and use it. So at the end, when we ask you to, whether or not this is, we're going to provide a QR code, ask you to fill out a quick survey for us. It will say, when do you plan on implementing this? And you might say, well, I'm never going to use this. Okay, that's true. You might not. Our organization might be, might be able to use it. We're going to use this. And we had said, we're going to use this tomorrow. I was like, maybe that needs to be ASAP, so that the strategy piece goes in there to think about that. So what we want to do, and then I wanted to talk a little bit about using it in Flow, and this talks to you, not to kick everybody else out, but those that know how to use Flow, raise your hand. But these templates allow for collaboration within the system. So you could build maybe you could build just a base template, and then someone else, Pam, you might look at it and go, okay, let's tweak it here, and it goes on down the line, and you finally end up with this template that we want to send out on a monthly basis. It has a link to a survey that we want our members to take, or you have a set of folks that you're reaching out to for either funding or, and you want that message to go out on a regular basis. You set it up and you run a scheduled flow that goes and just grabs that template, and it can actually substitute. You can write the flow to do the substitutions and send the emails out that way. So it becomes a tool that's useful beyond just as Chris said, the declarative side of things. You can really use it for programmatic type work too. So we wanted to make sure that we kind of touched on the admin side of things also, to give everybody a little bit of taste there. With regard to Lightning email templates, what can we show you? What didn't you get? How can we give you a little bit more information? Is there example that you have an idea? We have access to your org. We can go build templates in your stuff right now if we wanted to. Any thoughts?
So this is for our organization specifically, but we have the Conga templates. Would this be what we would use instead of Conga?
So the Conga templates is for reporting. And so the Conga platform allows you to gather the information up in a report, send it over, build a report, and attach it to an email and go. This would not be able to do that. Now, we could program up all of that, but then you have a custom platform that you have to actually maintain yourself. So the Conga becomes a little bit less or more appealing from that standpoint. Although Conga in and of itself is relatively complicated to use. So there may be some pieces in there, but the Conga platform itself is designed to gather up data, build spreadsheet reports, and then email those out, which this would not be able to do.
Yeah, but this could work for our donation receipts,
Mm-hmm.
newsletters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just trying to figure out how.
Does it do the same thing as
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, if it could replace MailChimp or.
Mm-hmm. We've actually worked with groups on that. There are some limitations to it. In the Salesforce sales environment, you can only use, please go ahead. In the sales environment, you can only send out 5,000 emails per day. In a list view type, like if you were to go in and click on a contact, if you'd already sent your 5,000 list view emails out and went and send it would still send. So it's not the individual emails, it's that mass emails. You can only send about 5,000 mass emails a day.
Let's say if we have 7,000 active emails that we're trying to send, you're trying to set that up.
Yes, and that's actually so interesting. Our org, what we're built on, only allows for 100 emails to be sent out per day. Well, you saw the campaign that Chris brought up. It had 186. So we broke it up into 2 separate campaigns, and we send one day, and then we schedule it and just send it out 9 a.m. the next day. So you can do that, and for the most part, unless you're really wanting to hit a specific time and day for that entire set, being able to handle it that way will work. It allows you to use the platform in that fashion, at least.
You could schedule one for 11:59 p.m. and the other for 12:01 a.m.
Yes, that would actually work. I'm gonna take my statement back, and there may be a 24-hour period, 24-hour cool-off period, rather than it being today and tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I won't
thank
hold
you.
to it.
And to the point of MailChimp, MailChimp is really nice. I worked in MailChimp for years, and you use those block sections, and you can, drag and drop pretty much anything in there. The really nice thing about this is that you can utilize that data that you already have for your clients, for your donations, and implement it directly into it, really having to type their name or anything like that. So MailChimp is really useful on those really broad, generalized campaigns, but when you really want to start reporting or start utilizing that data in Salesforce, you just can't do that in MailChimp right now. And it's just that direct access to that data that makes this very beneficial.
Is there a way to integrate, like, if you were to send a mass email,
It is on
when you're
rolling
looking
24
for
hours.
information
Okay.
back from somebody in Salesforce, could that integrate like straight in, like, if you're saying, click on, this button or this button for whether you're interested in something or not, right? So could that then be, the data be driven straight back into Salesforce, into their member, like into their record, or no? That would have to be like a third.
I would believe so with the assessment tool that we have.
Well, it can be designed that way. There's not a native feature to Salesforce to do that, but using the digital experience, a little bit of flow work, and your email template, click this link, it goes to a page that it would just open up a page, and it would say, thank you for your response, type of thing. But in the background, a little automation could say, hey, we got a hit on this page from this ID, mark that on their contact record. Or if they click the no, it goes to a different page, it sees that, you run the flow, and it marks it on their contact. So you could have, however many links you want that would do that.
Like if you didn't want to use like SurveyMonkey or something.
Well, and then, we're not selling anything, okay? We're really just trying to encourage better use, more use of the platform, and a better understanding of it. When you received the email for our Lunch and Learn, when you click on that tool, the registration page is an assessment tool that we built and have available in that, or in our org, that when you fill it out, it then creates the registration in the background for you. We get alerted that there's a new registration, and all of that is an app that we added on that we don't like SurveyMonkey, so we just wrote this other app to do that type of work. So,
Is that pretty comfortable to form assembly?
yes. And well, because you have a service contract, it's free. Limitations is that you've got 5,000 emails per day that you can send in bulk. And Chris,
Yeah, that is on a rolling 24-hour period. So the 1159, 1201 scenario wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And the 5,000 email is the number of recipients per email. You can only add 5,000 recipients. Anything over that, you have to split it out. The actual number of emails that can be sent depends on the level of organization you have, like enterprise, professional. I think enterprise is, it's either 1,000 or 2,000 per day.
yeah, your enterprise.
Yeah,
So we have 2,000, not 5,000.
correct. Now, if you have a
Think-
list,
We'll have to look because I think there's the nonprofit, they do some different
Oh,
stuff
okay.
in there.
yeah. So if you have a campaign that you want to send out to all of your contacts and you have like 30,000 contacts, you just split that up, like Steve was saying, into separate emails to go out at separate times. Otherwise, you would hit that limit and it wouldn't go out to everyone.
How many do we have? 11,000?
Yeah, I think you have about 22.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
see that a lot, especially with nonprofits and their donation. You know, they send out emails to their contacts.
So, and you said that if we hit our max with a mass, with like a template, you can still send receipts individually?
Yes,
Mhm.
individual emails would
Yeah.
still go out. So,
Well, even if you hit can't you purchase a higher daily limit? Or-
yeah, you can buy a daily limit higher if that becomes something else, but what they will do is try to get you to move over to Pardot,
Yeah,
their marketing tool, rather than buying more, in Sales Cloud licensing. So, Chris mentioned that the HTML editor functionality is limited. For lack of a better term, the HTML editor in there sucks. Okay, so rich text field editing is pretty good, and trying to maintain that and stay within that, unless you're wanting to do some real fun button links and things like that. If all you're putting in is a link, it's easy to do. If you're trying to dress it up like we did, you have to use the HTML editor and actually edit the HTML to build it out as a button. The other one the last one there, template sprawl. How many reports do you have in your org? Amy goes, way, way, way. I mean, you can't count the number of reports that you have in your org. Okay, the reason is because so you hear this real loud and clear, is that reporting isn't hard. Finding the right report that's already built is really hard. Finding that report that's already out there. So basically what happens is people go, I don't know that there's one there, so they just go build a report. And they share it with the world, or they put it in a folder that's shared with the world, and everybody has access to it. And so in as much as it needs to be a strategy around building reports, having reports, controlling that, same thing here. Because people have access to it, they will do it. And so trying to be intentional and have a strategy around email templates, dashboards, reports, these things that just kind of start, it doesn't have much to do with the data, it's how the data is represented and visualized. You get that sprawl aspect that occurs. So I always look at Pam and go, Pam, get control of it. I'll come to Natasha. Natasha, before you get started, here we need a strategy around these things.
now there is one other, I wouldn't call it an issue, but something you should be aware of if you're just starting with Lightning email templates. When you initially go into the org and go to the Lightning email templates, the enhanced folder sharing isn't turned on. So you would have to toggle that switch in your settings to have those folder structures show up for you.
But I'm-
Otherwise, it just shows up as a flat list view like we saw.
Mm-hmm.
So if you log in and see them just a list of email templates, then it's likely not turned on.
That's it for the Lightning email templates. So, yes. Oh, thanks. So in our survey, we'll leave that up there for a little bit so that you can all whip out your phones and take our survey for us. But there are three categories. There's end user. We ask you what role you play, or how do you engage with Salesforce, or how would you engage with Salesforce? We've got end users, sysadmins, managers. Okay, so for the most part, we understand that managers and sysadmins can be end users also, but basically what we're asking is, do you have any responsibilities beyond just using the system? Okay, so just to clarify some of that.
What if you probably shouldn't have?
Pam, we need to talk. No, the Salesforce platform is very powerful. It has a lot of capabilities to it. In a lot of ways, it's very easy to give everybody access to everything. Unfortunately, because it's very easy to give everybody access to everything, everybody has access to everything. And that can be a problem down the road. Like in our org, that's great because there's 3 of us. When you're starting off small, it's awesome because everybody does need access to everything. As you grow larger and larger and larger, you want to segment it more because it helps streamline. You don't get data overload. So that's where your profiles and permission sets come in.
If you have complex Lightning email templates that you're going to build, I would suggest building them in a sandbox first and testing them out, and then moving them into production in a change set. That way you can't have people, if you're not done building it, log in and inadvertently send it out when it's incomplete.
So you'd, sorry, your name? Kia, thank you. You had asked about clicks and seeing reporting on open emails and things like that. So that, I want to, it is not a good tool for that. And I can show you an example if you would like to see it, but and it would be Pam's record, because Pam's record in our data set has received both a list email saying, hey, please come to our lunch and learn, and a direct email saying, hey, please come to our lunch and learn. Okay. The list email does not show that she opened it. It just shows that she received, that it was sent to her. Okay. It doesn't show whether she actually opened it. So we don't get good campaign type email information. We sent out this email and we got this many, this many people actually read it. What it does show is that if you sent a person a direct email, whether they opened it or not.
Yeah, that's why Salesforce pushes a lot of heavy campaign usage organizations into the Pardot environment, because you get a lot of that granularity in that Pardot environment.
So if that's, I wanted to bring that up. I didn't want you to go away from this thinking, oh, this is going to be a great solution for being able to do like A/B testing and things like that. It won't do that type of work. Now, I will say that, honestly, I've been very pleasantly surprised at the relative affordability of Pardot. So if you need that type of thing, it's not so expensive that it's out of reach. I just,
It was, like, when you say relatively affordable, I was thinking, like, what is the license cost?
it's the license cost that we see for Travis Manion Foundation, their national org is $10,000 a year.
And then then there would be expense for the build out or the?
A little bit of a build out, but for the most part, it's like I help get it installed, and then their communications team just takes it and runs with it. So it's all self-managed on their side. They don't need much admin support. They are the participants, right? Your minority businesses, and then you have basically, in the end, the rest of the world, right? I mean, you would accept someone to sign in if they have a bid opportunity and they want to see a minority, what businesses are available. You're going to let them get in there, right? So, for the most part.
For the most part, couple of other details of where, just an example, if you were looking for a caterer for this specific event,
Mm-hmm.
and you're wanting to find a minority caterer, so it has like those tags, so that if you go to the chamber's website and you're searching for caterers, this list pops up. So it's searchable by category, by field that way. It's searchable by certification. It's searchable by chamber investors. So I mean, it's several search functions,
Mm-hmm.
but it's one of those connecting dots where we're connecting the business community and the MBEs together in one database.
How well defined are your requirements for this?
In my head, they're really
I work just like that.
They will be, so you will have to have certain qualifications as a participant to register.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's the certification, whether you've been in business a certain amount of time, because everything will come to either me or my team to kind of approve. But we don't want participants on the list that are not ready to do business with a BMW or a Michelin or
Right.
a Fluor or whatever. So there are certain criteria that you would have to make sure that we would verify prior to making it an active account. So I guess
So,
there are specifics.
okay. And
Is that a vetting process that you guys have established currently?
This is new. So I've been with the chamber about 9 months, and I came in day one with a brand new strategic plan. So this is part of the strategic plan from a outline, but how I kind of create it is completely up to me. So yes, I've looked at what other chambers have done as far as how they've created this criteria, this vetting process, and it's kind of a combination of about 5 of the chambers that I've created how I want the Greenwood chambers to. So there is a vetting process, and yet we do have that criteria already identified.
yeah, let's get
We
together and
just
chat,
haven't started the
because that's
process, 'cause I could start it in a SurveyMonkey, a Google form, whatever, but I don't wanna start the process. I'm just saying, but then it doesn't transfer over to a database, and then we're having to ask these same individuals to do it all over again.
Right.
I'm a believer time is money, and when you're a small business owner, you don't have time to replicate what you've already done. So we haven't executed the process because I wanna make sure however we execute it, whatever data we're getting can immediately be put into a database.
this isn't running through the foundation.
We're 501c6.
Yeah, it's not close enough.
A lot of my programming runs from a funding aspect runs through the foundation, but this aspect of it, no, it just runs straight through the chamber. It won't run through the chamber foundation.
Will you remind me, please, to investigate whether or not, because the chamber's got a foundation that they're going to be bringing, they actually already have a Salesforce org under the 501c3. I would be interested to see whether or not we could do this under the 501c3 org. I don't know that Salesforce would know the difference.
Systematically, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. Yeah,
Probably
it's just,
Chamber, just other one says foundation.
yeah. But I mean, that's, if you don't already have a Salesforce org, right?
Right,
The foundation does.
okay,
So you could actually start prototyping that out in that environment. Even though it's under the 501c3 licensing, I don't know that there's anything keeping you from being able to use it that way.
okay. That's good to know.
So, but I want to check on that before I say, yeah, let's do that. Get my new membership tarnished. But yes, let's get together. We'll schedule some time, go through that, because that is all very doable. It'll take some customization. You won't get it out of the box, but with a little customization, I think that
And I can share with you links to other chambers.
Yeah, that'd be
and how
great.
they have this set up, and then we can just kind of go from there.
Perfect. What else? Anything? Huh? Dude, really? It's almost 1 o'clock. Holy smokes. So, if you don't mind, please do take our survey. We will be sending a follow-up email later on that you can feel free to respond directly to if you like. But we do want to get some feedback from you. This will be a quarterly event. If you have an idea for a topic that you would like to see us kind of present, talk through how to use it, how to strategize around it, happy to do that. The form is a little quirky. If it comes up and looks wonky, just kind of drag it. It'll fix itself. That's okay. But you wouldn't be a sysadmin. I mean, and we wouldn't, you're going to, I guess that's kind of that definition that we run into is we've got end users and we've got those that are helping structure the data, which would be sysadmin, and then those that are looking at summaries of the data, which would be managers. So if you kind of think of it, I'm dealing with the data, I'm looking at the structure of the data, or I'm looking at the summary of the data. Is a good definition for that. Matt, did you record that? just kidding. I need to refer back to it later on. Got video notes. Reach out, send an email, call if you have any questions. If you need us to set up any kind of hands-on training, happy to do that too.